Michael, first of all, congratulations on your first victory in Major League Soccer. Was that the blueprint that we saw tonight for 90 minutes?
There were a lot of good things, a lot of really good things. We talked before the game about the idea that you work all preseason and then you get your chance in the first game when the lights come on to put it all to the test. And you can't ever predict exactly how it's going to go, but we wanted to make sure that we showed our ideas, our personality, our football, and for the first game there was a lot of good stuff.
Team came out basically like on fire. There was a lot of pressing, there was a lot of attacking on the ball. A lot of guys wasn't just standing around patiently, just getting to it and making the pass and making the touches. Julian Hall with 2 goals, youngest kid to ever get 2 goals in the game. What do you say about him and how would his growth, from second team to the first team now?
Yeah, Julian is a really talented young player, I think people sometimes it's easy to forget how young he still is because he's been a professional for a few years, but he has really big qualities. And we've got to keep pushing him so that he can take the next step. And tonight was a really good start for him. He had a really good preseason, and so we were all really excited for him that he could take the good preseason and turn it into a really strong performance right away.
Thanks over here.
Hi Coach, Marco Quesada from Costa Rica, everardoherrera.com. I wanted to ask about Andy. Well, you had him last season in the second team. How has his adaptation to the first team been? What do you expect from him this season?
Andy is a very talented young player. He came here last year. Obviously, spent a good amount of time with the second team last year. A few appearances. You could tell me 1, 2.
Just one
in League's Cup. Yeah. So 1 appearance with the first team. Started to get some good periods of training with the first team, and then obviously played a really big role in the second team last year, winning the MLS Next Pro Cup. And now he's one of a number of players this year who will get an opportunity to be real first team players and train with the first team pretty much every day and show that his qualities can hold up as the level goes higher and higher. And so he's a great young man. He loves football. He comes onto the field every day ready to train. I think he has good qualities. He can be a guy who plays as a left-sided attacker. He can also be more of an 8, a midfielder, and so we're going to continue to push him as well.
Next, we go to Sean Arnett on Zoom.
Hey there, Michael. When you had your opportunity to speak with your players before the match, did you notice something in their eyes? Like, did you see that they were ready for the challenge ahead of them? Did they seem overawed? Did you need to talk them through it? Or was it more of a situation where the preseason preparations paid off in terms of getting the players where you wanted them to be?
No, the work is every day. The work and the part of taking our football ideas, building a team. How do we combine, how we want to play with our mentality, with the culture that we're building, and so that process goes on every single day. And so what it means is that when you get to, when the games come, ultimately the games are for the players. The games are for them to show, again, who they are, to show their qualities, to bring our ideas to life. And we make some reminders on the before the game and try to make sure that we can frame things in the best possible way to give them a real sense of what the game is gonna feel like. But like I said, you ultimately as a coach, you want a team that when the whistle blows is ready to go for it and ready to take everything that we've been working on and lay it out there. And so that part was awesome tonight.
Next, go to Daniel Rebay.
How you doing, Michael? Talk about your decision to go with Matthew Dos Santos at left back. Obviously, he has, familiarity with your system, but just talk about his preparation and what went into that decision to start him over Omar Valencia tonight.
Matty is another really, really talented young player, and we know how good he is. We know what a good kid he is. I got to see all of that up close when I came into the second team last year. As things went, he actually didn't even come to the first part of preseason with us. Just with our numbers and some of the situations that were still up in the air. Maddie stayed in New Jersey, trained with the under-18s, and trained with the second team while we were in Bradenton for the first part of preseason. And then when we got back in between, we wanted to bring him in with us and start to get him a good stretch of days with the first team, and he from day one showed that he needed to stay with us, and so we're really happy with him over the that period in between Bradenton and Texas, and then as we got into the games in Texas, he just kept getting better and better, and ultimately as we were moving through the last week or so, felt like he was a guy who deserved to be on the field from the start.
Go back to Eric.
Take me through the emotions right from the end of the first game to the first goal in the 8th minute. What was going through your mind at that exact moment when he scored that first goal in the 8th minute? What was going through your mind at that point, or you were just focusing on the next play ahead?
Yeah, I mean, look, the best feeling as a coach is when you can stand on the sideline and ultimately have no direct control over what's going on in that moment during the game, but you have a group of players in a team that bring it all to life and play and compete and are fearless and go for it and are there for each other and are ready to just do everything they can from minute 1 until minute 90, and so that part is that's why you coach, to have that feeling. That's why you spend the hours that you do during the week. That's why you think endlessly about how to put training together, about how what the right video is to show, how to connect with the players. All of the conversations is because then you want when the games come to be able to stand there and watch them, and so that part was special tonight.
What did you tell the team when it was all said down the final whistle? What did you tell them how proud you got, by the guys, or anything special? Or?
Yeah, more or less what I just told you. That I was really proud of the way they played, really proud of the way they competed. For the first game, we did a lot of really good things. If we're being a little bit picky, then it's a game that probably shouldn't end 2-1. It's a game that, given the amount of big chances that we create, given how well we play over large stretches of the game, you would hope that as we continue to grow and get better and get fitter and get stronger, that we can make even more of our football, and we will. So the most important thing on a night like tonight is that they feel good about the game. They are proud and enjoy the feeling of what goes into a night like tonight. But like I said, you wouldn't be a coach if you didn't also find one or two little things to say, come on, we can. This is gonna make us even better.
Good, Dan.
Just 2 quick questions for me. Number 1 on Kate Cowell. He was like a man possessed on the right. Just how he had the ball, attacking with it, and of course finding the pass to get into the middle. Almost had one, but it hit under the bar. How happy are you with Cade's performance? And secondly, was that your game plan to take advantage of their back line, going down the wide angles to attack from within?
Yeah, good question. We felt like it was a game that set up well for us. Orlando are a very good team. They're well coached. I've played against Oscar's teams for a long time, and so we knew that it was going to be a real challenge in every way. But we also felt like our way of playing, our speed, our football could challenge them. And so the part of of taking advantage of Cade, of George, of Julian, their movement, their speed, that part was important.
We have time for 2 more questions with Coach. First we'll go to George, and then we'll finish up with James. George, you have the floor.
Mike, congrats on a big win, man. Given the history of this team on the road and teams past, granted it's a very different team, how important was it for you to set the tone the way that you guys did tonight on the road? And obviously that's not going to lead your expectations for the rest of the way, I'm assuming, especially when it comes back on the road.
Yeah, look, winning away from home in the league is hard, and there's a lot of factors that come into that. But ultimately, we want to be a team that no matter who we play, no matter where, that we step on the field and try to push the game. We try to play our football. We try to go after the other team. We try to put the game on our terms. And look, there'll be days where that works better than others. There'll be days where we have to find a way to still dig in and compete and make sure that even in spells of the game where it isn't as easy, that we can still pull ourselves through. But the idea is that, again, as we keep developing our team, as connections, relationships get stronger, as we grow, as our fitness gets better, that we, again, our idea is to step on the field every single weekend and go for it.
And we'll finish up with James.
Thanks, Mike. Congratulations on the first 3 points of your MLS coaching career. You've spoken before about how defending is a collective action, but to zone in on the defenders who started the match today and goalkeeper Ethan Horvath, just how impressed were you with the performance of Dylan Nealis, Justin Che, especially in his debut, and Horvath?
Yeah, very, very happy with them. As you said, the part of defending, the part of being a team that's hard to play against, that is collective. That is everybody, Everybody attacks, everybody defends. That's the starting point, That is the identity that we have to have. But of course, within that, you need your defenders, you need your goalkeeper to also be ready to make big plays, be ready to find ways, both by the book and off the cuff, to make plays and make sure that the other team doesn't have easy ways of making chances and score. And so obviously the part of football where everything, when things are perfectly organized, and when things are play out in the way that you expect, then that's a little bit what I mean when I say by the book. But then there's other situations that you can't predict, that are dynamic and spur of the moment, and you have to have all players, but defenders and a goalkeeper who in those moments are ready to, again, find ways to make plays and find ways to make sure that the other team doesn't get anything easy. And so I think, Maddie, Dylan, Justin, Jaquil, Juan Mina, Omar Valencia, Ethan Horvath, Gustav Berggren played a few minutes in the center of the back when Justin Che was cramping, and so those guys all deserve huge credit.